This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, New Eternia, Battle Armor Skeletor. This is another figure that came out a while ago, and I kind of forgot about. So on the front, we do see our Evil Lyn, which I've already reviewed, and we see Battle Armor Skeletor fighting against the Snake Men. And now that I think about it, I'm surprised we haven't seen any Snake Men in the Masterverse line yet, considering how prominent they've been in Origins, like ridiculously so. When we go to the side here, we just see more of the battle. King Hiss in the back, a few more of the Snake Men. Aside from that, the one in the middle there being Brawl and the other one being Reptix, it kind of seems like the other Snake Men all look generic, and his helmet's coming off. On this side, we get a close-up of his head with a chainmail hood, and then with his battle armor helmet, which actually looks pretty badass. And on the back, we get our product shots showing, of course, Skeletor with an axe, his scimitar, which I do not remember what it was called, probably because I haven't actually opened up the original New Eternia Skeletor yet, and barely read the back of it. He does come, again, axe, scimitar, and it looks like we do have battle damage pieces to put in place. Battle Armor Skeletor, protection powered by evil magic. In his quest for the last remnants of Castle Grayskull, Skeletor discovers the ancient battle armor artifact to aid him in his nefarious schemes. Also available, the Man of War, the Sorceress Teela, Snake version, Merman, and the Battle Armor Skeletor. So now that we've covered all that, let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? Alright, so our content list here shows Skeletor. He's got one armor plate, and then he's got his scimitar and his axe. Of course, on the back of this, we do see how you switch out the armor, which is you have to take off the armor. God, you gotta take off a lot of shit from him, don't you? You gotta pull off the armor to swap out the parts. Which, I mean, that's pretty much how they've been doing battle armor a lot lately with everything except for the Origins line. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the head sculpt without the helmet first. And I gotta say, again, the Masterverse New Eternia line is just knocking out of the ballpark with their Skeletor head designs here. Like, they are doing a real badass job with those. Not so much with any of the other Skeletors, but yeah, this looks really nice. I like it. It also looks like a skull head where you would actually see a body. Where you'd actually see the skin over it, except for this chin. That is a huge, like he's got like crimson chin here. But aside from that, you know, it does look like something that would actually fit underneath skin, you know. Unlike some of the other Skeletors where it's the same size as a regular head. Of course, again, we have his helmet, which looks really cool. It actually does, like, it's a friction grip there, but it does hold on pretty well. And again, it's a pretty badass helmet. It makes it actually kind of a shame that when they did the Panther, that they hadn't kept the ram's horn design like this and instead put the little horn things on the front of his helmet. Because matching it up to this would have looked really nice, and that would have made this a great figure to actually have riding on that Panther. Aside from the fact that, as you might recall from my Panther review, mine has really weak leg joints in the back. So I'm not even sure I could put a figure on him and have it stay. We do have the undamaged piece in the front here. And then we have a slightly damaged, like 2 slices into it, armor piece here. Here is a scimitar. Like I said, I believe on the first release of Skeletor, there is kind of a backstory about this also being some sort of magic sword. And that's assuming that this is the same scimitar, but I'm kind of assuming it is, because they've been given the different variations of He-Man the same version of the power sword. Ah. And then what we have here looks like a brand new axe to go with him. You know, a lot of times they've just been, and I think this started with classics, but they gave Skeletor like He-Man's axe in purple. So I'm glad to see that they created a new one for this figure. Well, the skirt piece fits underneath the loincloth. Got a little hook on the back here, so you can take it off. It does appear like, I think these are the same feet that they used with the Terror Claws. Like, it might even be the same leg pieces now that I look at them. So they're definitely getting some reuse out of it, I would say. I don't think I've seen this skirt piece, though, on any other figure yet in the line. And I really do love this. It's kind of a shiny metallic purple that they've used on him. And I think that looks really beautiful. And actually, I'm going to be kind of interested to actually see what this looks like when you take it off. I mean, actually, because I was thinking maybe that the armor was sitting up here and that this is like part of the torso. But now that I look at it closer, I do believe that that's also part of the armor. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first. Actually, it shows instructions to pull these things out on the box, but I don't think we need to. What I'm having trouble with is just trying to undo the tabs here, or the pins. Good lord. Alright, so I have probably damaged the pin. Oh my gosh. So aside from the fact that it's really difficult to get these things detached, and you can kind of see the wear I put on the... Now maybe this is me. You know, maybe I'm just really bad at this. But you can definitely see where I have weakened the plastic there trying to get that off. We'll have to pop his head off now and pull the battle armor out. He's got a standard... he's got the standard body. You know, when I talked about the Savage He-Man, I made mention that it seemed like this piece was pushed forward. I guess maybe that is the normal way all these figures are. Although his head still didn't help. And we do have the ball joint with the hinge on it for the neck there. So in order to change out the battle armor, we pull that out, and that looks like this. I guess technically we don't even need to take this off. I guess technically, yeah. We wouldn't really necessarily need to take this off, maybe. And we can put the other one in place. I'm not sure which one of these I'd rather display it with, though, the damaged or undamaged one. It sort of feels like it should be the damaged one because it is the battle armor, so it's kind of nice to show the damage. But on the other hand, I don't know. I think I like the way it turned out here with the especially with the Dayglow green coloring on there. You know, the one that matches his skull. But let's go ahead and put his armor back on. And I want to see if I can actually swap those out without actually taking this off. And also see if we can really get that in place there. There we go. Got those pins back in. So let's see. So yeah, you didn't really need to take it off like the instructions showed. You can swap them without doing that. So next time I do a battle armor character, which I think I have 2 different battle armor He-Mans to go over, I'll just not do that. Okay, looking at Skeletor's head again. He does have a hinged jaw, too. It doesn't move a whole lot, but it does move a bit. I just honestly thought that that's how it was sculpted when I saw it. So I guess you could say they did a good job of blending in the articulation to the rest of the head. Again, I just cannot get over the size of that chin. There we go. Put that back in place. It is kind of too bad, though, that when they did the metallic armor, that they did not do like kind of a metallic red in his eyes. Because I always like it when they make it so the eyes look like they kind of glow. But again, we get his helmet in place. Articulation-wise, he can look down real well. Can't really look up at all. His head turns to the side, turns to the other side. And the helmet does kind of swap around when you do that. So this might be one of those cases where you want to position the head and then put the helmet on once you have that decided. Of course, we can hinge the arms up. The way the shoulder pauldrons are set up, they will raise with the arm, so that's good. The problem that's going to come up with us is when we go to try to spin. Because obviously the pauldron then kind of gets in the way when you go to spin forward and back. We do have the bicep cut. And of course a double joint in the elbow. And a spin with in and out articulation on the hand. In and out on the other hand as well. When we had the armor off, we did see that he did in fact have a boob cut, but with the armor in place, you can't move it. So that's kind of useless articulation at the moment. We do get a spin here at the waist, full 360. His loincloth is actually a chainmail loincloth, making him quite possibly more accurate to Red Sonja than the upcoming Red Sonja movie did. We do not have drop-down hips on this figure, it looks like. Let's see. Looks like it is just standard hips from previously. And his helmet came off. We got a thigh cut, so we get the 360 spin. Double joint at the knee. Our lovely boot cut. We can hinge the ankle down a little bit and up a little bit. And there is a bit of a spin to it, but it appears that the ankle area of the boot is going to keep it from particularly going all the way around. Oh, nice. Let's see. Dang it. I thought maybe, because it's definitely has a double-handled axe here, I thought maybe I could put his hands together and have him above his head, kind of. You know, doing like this sort of a thing for a swing down. But it does not appear that... Oh, maybe. Nope. There we go. That came out there. Yeah, I can't quite position pose Skeletor the way I want to with his two hands on that axe, which is really a shame, because that would have been a really good pose for him. It's also kind of interesting that the scimitar has a very rectangular handle and the axe has a square one. I kind of wonder how that over time might affect the hand position for gripping. Unfortunately, he does not have a spot on his armor to hold the sword, and that's kind of a shame, really. That has been sitting there the entire review. Overall on this figure, I think he looks pretty badass. Again, Masterverse is doing a really good job on these later New Eternia figures than I think they were doing early on with the Revelation figures. And even better than the early New Eternia figures, to be fair. The only thing being, of course, as I've kind of mentioned before, the early New Eternia figures had like different head sculpts and modifications to the equipment so that you could have them look kind of more vintage style and then more of the New Eternia style. And they've done away with that fully at this point. And being that this is like, I think 2 waves previously, it's been a while. It's been like that for a while. But I guess, having them focus on the new Eternia style does still look good. And now that they're giving us the vintage versions of figures, those are pretty cool too, especially since the vintage ones do have new body sculpts as well. So yeah, again, they're just really knocking out of the park with these guys. I think this is a really great Skeletor. And actually, I think the battle armor is the same color as the Terror Claws. So you could potentially swap out his hands with the Terror Claws and have Terror Claws Battle Armor Skeletor. It's unfortunate, however, that they didn't pre-tool this to actually have those little Terror Claw things attached back here too. That would have been cool, and that would have been a lot of versatility and playability. Why don't you guys tell me what you think of the Battle Armor Skeletor from New Eternia in the comments below. As somebody who's not a huge Skeletor collector, aside from being more of a completist with the Masters of the Universe stuff, I've actually really liked the Skeletors quite a bit. And I can't wait to see what they do with more of them. Like, I wonder if they'll give us the laser Skeletor in New Eternia. I bet you we'll see that in New Eternia before we see it in Origins, though. But if you enjoyed my nonsense here, please feel free to subscribe. I would appreciate it. And I thank you for watching. Peace and love.